over 50 million views.
Who cares?
You're listening to The Joe Cronin Show.
The Joe Cronin Show.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Listen, update on Alexa Bliss. Welcome to State of the WWE, episode 111. Update on Alexa Bliss is they're saying it's a rumor killer that she's not injured for her career isn't on the line, but she does have multiple severe concussions, and we're hearing all kinds of crazy stuff about tingling in the arm and stuff like that. I really don't know which one it is, you know, and if you hear noise in the background, it's mostly I'm watching the football game, so you might hear some football or something, I don't know. And I don't care to turn it down because I'm partying. I mean, no, I'm not. I'm just sitting here. But so Alexa Bliss, whatever. We'll talk about the Raw ending, the new Raw ending. We already talked about that in the other video, but I want to go over that real quick. But yeah, for Alexa Bliss to be injured, it would really be quite an awful thing. Of course, this Monday night is going to be the first night of Monday Night Raw in forever. It feels like that they will have to end exactly at 11 p.m. So exactly at 11 p.m. they'll have to be off the air. There's no more overtime, which I'm not a fan of that. That was one thing that I always found that was kind of exciting, that you never knew what was going to happen, how long Raw was going to go on for. There was just another... I think anybody who's happy about this is crazy, because I think anybody who's happy about this, I mean, it's just taking away another element of surprise or another sort of unpredictable element. And unpredictability in wrestling is something that's really, really important, that I think a lot of people enjoy. It keeps the product fresh. And this is going to be a, I think it's going to be, I don't know, I just don't think it's going to be good. It's going to be good for me because I'll be able to know when I can start my live review show of Raw. I can start at 11:01 or 11 on the dot every single night because I know that Raw won't run over. Same way I can start my SmackDown reviews. But as a fan of it, it's just going to be, it's not going to be as fun. I don't care if the show's 3 hours long and you don't like it. It'd be the same way if it was 2 hours long. I think SmackDown lacks something because sometimes they could use an extra 3, 4, 5, 6, or 10 minutes, and they don't get it. So that's something that I think hurts everybody. I can't believe that anybody's out there thinking that it's a good thing. I disagree with that, like 100%. So I asked some questions. A lot of times we ask questions on Patreon, and today I decided to ask questions on Twitter. So you patrons, make sure you guys stay tuned for questions. But I've got all these questions lined up. A lot of people asking me if I saw Big Cass and the shape that he's in. Yeah, he's a big fat. I mean, you can call him Big Fat or Big Fat or Fat Cass. I don't know. Fat ass. He's really out of shape. I mean, that's really mean, though. I mean, but he's just out of shape, man. He almost has the waistline of Rikishi. You know what I mean? And then I don't know, man, he's out of shape. He looks out of shape. I don't know if he is. Maybe that's just the way his body's moving. You know, he's getting older now, so maybe he's becoming a bigger guy, and that's sometimes something you can't control, I guess, if you're getting bigger. And yeah, he's a bit messed up looking, you know what I mean? I mean, that's what you get, you know, for not having Enzo's back. No, I don't know. Maybe he'll come back, but, you know, if I was him, man, I don't know why you wouldn't hit the gym and just start just working out and, like, looking ripped and just whatever. I mean, maybe that's, again, maybe he's got a problem. Maybe that's just what he looks like, but he does not look good. Does not look good. And if you're a big cast, I mean, I would just be looking at guys like Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. I'd be like, look at these guys. They left the WWE kind of not taking it very seriously, out of shape kind of, and then they went and did all this work, and they got back. Maybe I should do that too. Maybe if I show them, like, look at how ripped I am. You know, this could be a classic WWE method. Like, let's let him go, give material, come back or something. So anyway, yeah, I did see the pictures of him. If I can get them to you guys and I have time to edit, I'll throw a picture up on the screen right now. Obviously, you know if it's there or not. That Anything Goes podcast, he mentioned a comment, but a lot of people send me messages about him. I'll tell you what, the Patriots are getting destroyed right now. I don't know what is going on. I bet on the Patriots. I made the mistake of betting this week. 6 weeks of no betting. I would have been a $10,000 winner. I bet 1 week, and that's the type of luck I have right now. Maybe I'll get hit by a car tomorrow, and I'll be dead. Mr. Q-Ball says, do you think they are holding Bray and Harper out until Rowan is healthy, coming back as the Wyatt family? Maybe, but I thought that Rowan was going to be out a while. I thought Rowan was, like, really in trouble. Like, I thought he was out, like, 6 months or something. So if that's, you know, I mean, they could always brought Bray in, you know, Bray in with Harper. Because the two of them would be good. Because Rowan is the weakest guy of all of them. You know, he's kind of goofy. He's not that good of a wrestler. I mean, you know, but Bray Wyatt you can watch, and Harper you can watch. So why not put those two guys together as the Wyatt family, or you know, the reunion of the Wyatts, or some kind of goofy thing like that? I don't know. Maybe Matt Hardy could even be the manager. I don't know. So, you know, are they holding him out? I mean, maybe. They're definitely holding out. Bray Wyatt is definitely being held out until they have something for him, or they have something planned, and who knows what that is. I mean, Survivor Series is going to come and go without Bray Wyatt being involved in that. And now we're into December, and I mean, maybe the Royal Rumble. Maybe it's the Rumble when Bray Wyatt will make his return, perhaps. Aaron James on Twitter asks, who are the early favorites to win the Royal Rumble? It's funny. I didn't even read that, and it had to do with, look at that tie-in. I think to win the Royal Rumble could be Daniel Bryan, because of that sort of history of him never winning it. I still think he's kind of a long shot. He's not my number one pick. Maybe it'd be great if Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble. No, maybe, you know, I don't know. Who could win the Rumble? Maybe, like, Seth Rollins could win the Rumble. You know, I would say Daniel Bryan or Seth Rollins, or, you know, The Miz or somebody like that. You know, I maybe not The Miz, but, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to be happy this year with who wins the Rumble. Maybe Braun Strowman will win the Rumble. If WWE realizes how bad they've screwed over Braun Strowman, and they want to try to build him up again for some reason on the way to Mania, knowing the plans will change all over the place, but knowing that they want Braun involved in something, especially with the maybe Universal Championship, then, you know, you may see Braun Strowman win the Rumble. So I would say that my top picks to win the Rumble are Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and Daniel Bryan. And then maybe somebody who's not on the current roster. You know, maybe somebody like that. It could be a guy like Kevin Owens, though. It could be a guy like Kevin Owens, or, you know, somebody, you know, I don't know. At this point, I don't know if I care. I'm so uninterested in everybody and everything involved with these things that it just it almost doesn't matter to me who wins the Rumble, you know? So thanks to you guys for those questions. Dan Kennedy, our friend Dan Kennedy. Remember that? Remember that question with Dan Kennedy? How would you book the Undisputed Era match, main roster debut? Oh, how would you book Undisputed in the main roster? Oh my God. You know, I would have them make a huge impact, obviously. I mean, obviously WWE won't really do that. WWE will sometimes make people seem like it may make a huge impact, and then they get completely forgotten about after that. Or they won't even make a huge impact. You know, they'll do like Sanity's debut, or multiple attempted debuts, or whatever Sanity did. But, you know, with the with Undisputed, I mean, there's no real group that they could go after, really. I mean, they could go after, like, New Day, but that would be lame. I feel like that would drag Undisputed Era down. I feel like maybe bringing up Adam Cole first and having him in some kind of an important match, perhaps with even, like, Seth Rollins for the IC belt, or, you know, something along the lines of that, to where, you know, he's got a one-on-one match with somebody, and at the end, you know, Undisputed shows up and, you know, takes out the guy or whatever, and they get an interference or something like that, and then he becomes the champion. Or, you know, you could have the tag team belts get won by Undisputed, and then, you know, later on, you know, next thing you know, Adam Cole and Undisputed, you know, they've got all the belts, and they just got there, you know, that type of thing, and really have them go on a run. Something like that. Something similar to DX was formed. The night, DX was formed, or reformed, I would say, with X-Pac showing up. Something along the lines of that recreation in a way. If you could do that, I think that would be very good. And then maybe you could bring up a couple other NXT guys at the same time. But, I really don't see a good place for them at this point with how WWE books. I mean, I know you asked me I would do it. And honestly, it's hard to envision it with these circumstances around this company. And so, I don't know. I mean, I might bring I'd probably, the other way to go is you could bring them up and have them feud with AJ Styles. You could have right away Adam Cole going after AJ Styles, and now you sort of get Bullet Club versus Undisputed Era. If WWE had signed if WWE was to have signed the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega or 2 or 3 of those guys, and Undisputed Era is just wreaking havoc, screwing things up for AJ Styles left and right, and then all of a sudden, the Young Bucks or somebody shows up, and but they've already kind of done this with Anderson and Gallo. It just didn't work. They called it the Club. I don't know how much it would work. But it might work in a way, even though some of the fans may not understand who the Young Bucks are and who, Kenny Omega is. But they would understand that AJ Styles has backup. So now you have Undisputed Era in a kind of a feud with the Bullet Club in WWE. But AJ Styles is facing off against Adam Cole for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then the other 3 members are facing each other, because you have a perfect setup of, Omega, Young Bucks, or somebody else and Young Bucks, and then AJ, and it's 4-on-4. So that would probably be the way I would book it now, the way things are looking. That's what I would do. And you could even have Undisputed Era cause problems for AJ, and AJ still hang onto the belt. But I don't know. I don't really know. I'd probably put a belt on Adam Cole though, and I'd probably have all the guys eventually win all the belts. You'd have Adam Cole with the WWE World Title, somebody else, whether it's Bobby Fish or whatever, with United States belt. And then you get the tag belts, and then they're a force for a little while, maybe 3 months, and then slowly, everybody might lose their belts except for Adam Cole. I don't know. Something like that, I guess. It's hard to say with the way the company is now. It's just so bad. In NXT, I mean, you can book them all over the place in NXT. It's great. Undisputed Era is wonderful in NXT. But I can't even picture booking them well. The WWE certainly won't do it, and that's a problem. You could do all kinds of awesome stuff with the Undisputed Era. If it was the Attitude Era, I would book backlot brawls with these guys. I'd bring the War Games up to the main roster with them. That won't happen. You certainly could book a ladder match at least now with them, some kind of a ladder match. So, no, I don't think we're going to see any of that, though. By the way, guys, what's up? Make sure you guys hit the like button and leave a comment down below. More questions here. JD Venom says, what happened to all the fan signs in the crowd? Seems to be 4 times less here in 2018. Well, every year they go down because you're discouraged. If you bring a sign that says Roman Reigns sucks, it gets taken away. If it's down with the big dog, it gets taken away. I mean, certainly it will now because of the cancer thing, but I'm talking about before the guy had cancer. And by the way, people saying that you guys are all assholes, people who hated on Roman Reigns. Now that he has cancer, no, that doesn't make any sense. But no, the signs are horrible now, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much people loved them back in the day because they'd always get in your face and in your way when you're trying to watch stuff. But, I mean, when you go back and watch 97, 96, 98, 99, I mean, there's so many signs. Even in 2004, there's still a lot of signs. But, 2006, there's a good amount. But by about 2008, they started dying down. And now they're just really garbage. And now in 2018, it's really, really, really bad because WWE doesn't let you even bring signs unless they say, like, I love Bailey or something like that. Mr. J PS4 says, do we have to wait until Triple H takes over for there to be a black champion? Because I don't see it while Vince is in charge of the company right now. Yeah, probably not. I think you have to wait for the right guy. It's got to be, you know, I mean, I sometimes I wonder, you know, are they really like sort of like racially biased? You know, and they might be. I mean, there's certainly a big joke about, like, if you're a black guy, you better learn how to dance, because it seems like I just think you have to have a ton of charisma and a ton of personality, and I don't know what the reason is for some people not working out. I mean, let's look at it. Like, let's look at the black guys. Some of the black guys they have, right? The New Day, probably some of the most charismatic guys at this point on the card. They've done really well for themselves as tag team champions and a featured talent. You know, Apollo Cruz, great smile, nice personality, really athletic and good, but he doesn't really have that mega charisma on the mic. But, you know, neither does really a lot of guys. Like, AJ Styles really doesn't say that much. You know, I'm the champ that runs the camp. Like, I mean, and, you know, Apollo Crews goes, hey, man, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to like, he really doesn't do anything either. You know, both of them on the mic, as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, just both suck on the mic. Apollo's worse, but, you know, and AJ's better in the ring, it seems. But I did hear that Apollo Crews is about to get a push soon, so we'll find out. I thought Apollo Crews would be a great guy who could be sort of a United States champion or IC belt champion. You know, a guy who could carry that belt for a little while. You know, maybe get really good. Like, just be a solid guy who, you know, wins, you know, 7 out of 10 times he wins, you know. And eventually he loses it so he can help be competition for other guys in the mid-card. He can be a upper to mid-card, middle mid-card guy who can be taken seriously as opposed to a almost non-existent wrestler in the last few months. I mean, just a waste of talent for me. Put that guy out there and let him compete, but I don't know. Who else? I mean, Bobby Lashley, we know, you know, no. I mean, he just isn't very good on the mic. He's kind of boring, and WWE would need to have propelled him like a Brock Lesnar. He would need to be booked kind of like a Brock Lesnar to do that, and they won't do it. So they're not helping Bobby Lashley whatsoever. You know, they gave him a mouthpiece finally, but even that isn't working that much, but it's still better than what they had. The mouthpiece with Lio Rush is better than what they were doing. Bobby Lashley was a 3 out of 10. Now he's like a 5 out of 10. You know, but he should be a 7 out of 10 at least. And they don't see it that way. But, you know, there's clearly something up there. But also there's a lot of other wrestlers that aren't black, you know? Like, a lot of white wrestlers are jobbers, right? A lot of white wrestlers are jobbers, like Ty Dillinger, Mike Bennett. I mean, the names go on and on and on. Zack Ryders and people like that. They're all jobbery people. So it's also a numbers game. Just most of the guys just don't make it, and so many of them aren't taken seriously. So for every like 5 white guys, just like 1 black guy, right? So it's going to be much harder for a black guy to ever get over or become champion, because even the numbers of white guys can't do it. You know, Wade Barrett, remember when Wade Barrett was doing his thing? He was getting over, and they still took it away from him. So, you know, maybe they just suck with all kinds of stuff. Jesus, Melly, you going to keep scratching your neck for like 20 minutes? What the shit? Oh my God, I mean, my dog just scratched her neck for like 20 minutes. The call's like, ding, 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 ding. It's like, are you doing this on purpose because I'm recording something? That was Mr. PS4, Mr. Johnson, 1987 on Twitter. Thanks for the question. Gordon Bombay's in the house. Of course, he says, which wrestlers have the biggest hogs? I don't know why I asked that. Amanda, who do you see headlining WrestleMania, men or the women? What's your opinions about the women headlining Mania? I would be game with the women. I am game with the best match main eventing WrestleMania. I think it's a huge disservice to the women to just have the women main event WrestleMania just to say that. That is a joke. You should not do that. Now, if Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair or something like that becomes some kind of a rivalry, and they have a match that it's one of the best matches of the year, and they go on to have a really good rivalry, and it's leading into WrestleMania, and you say, well, this is the hottest thing we got. Let's go with that. Well, then, man, I am game. Amanda, I want those women to main event WrestleMania then. But if they're not really at that level at all, and maybe even if they're close, you could do it. Just to say it, we did it. But if they're not really at that level and they just say, we're making the women's the main event, people are going to know that. And I don't know how well it's going to go over. So that concerns me that they'll just do it to do it. I hope it happens, and I hope it happens naturally. And I think it has the chance of that happening over the next 3 years. Maybe this year, over the next 3 years. And you know what, Amanda? It could be this year, because the men's division right now, it's ugly. One of the best things recently was Becky Lynch and Charlotte. And we know how Ronda Rousey's been pretty good. Thanks for that question on Twitter, Amanda. Guys, we got more here. We got more. Is Hogan really banned from WWE again? I don't know. I didn't hear that. He might not be showing up for a little while still, though. I don't know if he's banned, but he still may not have his American return coming yet. Vince doesn't trust the millennials. That's why he's not creating new stars. He can't trust anybody. Well, then, I mean, what's he going to do? Just, Ray, thanks for the question on Twitter. I mean, if he doesn't trust somebody soon or do something with somebody, I mean, there's going to be no company or something. I don't know what they're going to do. When you see Lesnar losing the Universal title into whom? He's either going to lose it really quickly after this whole UFC thing, or he's going to have it till WrestleMania. So I mean, those are almost the only options. I'm going to say that Brock Lesnar holds the belt to WrestleMania, and they again try to put somebody else over at the expense of Lesnar. I think it's very possible we see Drew McIntyre versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. Z the Reaper, my buddy, Z the Reaper 86. Black versus Gargano. I don't know. I think it could be pretty good, man. I think NXT has been really exciting. I could see Ciampa and Gargano just keep fighting. I wish they'd keep going, but I like the little break and little roads block here that they put up, I guess, to do something different. So I'm really kind of interested in it. They did a good job by keeping it fresh. Before anything got stale, they quickly went in another direction. I don't know, man. The pacing of NXT is so much better right now as far as storylines and what they're doing compared to the main roster. It's almost unbelievable. Thanks, See the Reaper. Rick, Cardo HQ on Twitter. How do you bring back Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt back into the show after time off? I don't know. Maybe do a program against each other. Maybe do a whole thing with them against each other. Maybe have Kevin Owens show up. I'm back, blah, 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 whatever. And then Bray Wyatt attack him. But, I don't think Owens is back for at least 3 more months. If not, I don't know. I don't know when Owens is back. I think Bray Wyatt could be back tomorrow if they wanted. So it'd be pretty cool, though, to see Kevin Owens and him in a feud. Certainly, if they're both available, I'd bring them both back possibly at Royal Rumble. Maybe one back the night after Mania if there was an injury that lasted that long. That's my opinion. It's a pretty quick one. I'd probably save more of that for another video. Rick says, Cardo HQ again says, who walks out WrestleMania Universal Champion? I'm going to go ahead and just guess. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre walks out as Universal Champion at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre. And then somebody wrote, Blue Easy below that wrote that very thing. And Glorious Eugene asked me about the Aleister Black storyline. I think it's quite unique, and NXT is testing the waters. No one is really healer nor face. Yeah, they are kind of testing things. It's a risky thing what they did. It is one of the bigger risks they've done in a while with the type of stuff they had going with Gargano and Ciampa. I'm surprised by it, to be honest. I think I would have kept going with Ciampa and Gargano. I'd say, man, keep this thing going, whatever. And I kind of admire them in a way for trying to do something else. because eventually it would have run stale. And I think they're going to come back. I think they're using it as a sidebar. And I think that by WrestleMania, NXT TakeOver WrestleMania, we will have Gargano and Ciampa again for the title, where Gargano will finally beat Ciampa. That's what I think. I mean, maybe not. Maybe that won't happen. But anyway, I also wanted to say, guys, somebody sent me a message and said, you know, Joe, recently Solomonster talked about he didn't know why in the world Sid was over in 96 like he was. I've heard you talking about this before. Would you elaborate more on that? Yes, I want to talk a lot about Sid in 1996. I did hear the clip you sent me, Solomonster. He said that he had no idea why in the world Sid was over then. And I think I know the answer. I think I 100% know the answer, and I've already said it before, but I'm going to go into it on a special video on Patreon, a bonus clip of State of the WWE bonus, or State of the WWE Extra, if you want to call it that, whatever it is, up on Patreon. That audio will be there for you right now. So go on over to Patreon, give it a try. It's up there for all patrons, even just for $1 a month. It's up there for everybody. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Why should you go over there? Well, because you get hours of bonus content that you don't get here on YouTube. And you guys help me keep making these videos. I can't express that to you enough. If you love what I do here, you like these videos, you want me to continue doing these videos, show me that by clicking the like button, leaving comments, sharing these videos everywhere you can. Get people to come on to YouTube and listen to me. And then if you really, really love what I do and like listening to these, grab $1 a month, $12 a year, $1 a month. And it's patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. It's free to download on your phone, of course, that Patreon app. Or if you don't want to do that, go to joecroninshow.net and you can make a contribution there directly. God damn, man. They did the whole play. I got interrupted here. They hiked the direct snapped. I thought, no, Brady got the ball. It was a handoff back to Edelman. He threw the ball, and Brady ran, similar to the Super Bowl play and a few other plays, and then Brady just tripped, man. I thought he pulled his hamstring. Thank God it ain't that. But anyway, I'm sorry, interrupted by football again. But no, seriously, if you do love what I do, go over to Patreon, and I'm going to talk about Sid for a few minutes here and why I thought this happened in 96. I think it's very clear. I think it's kind of obvious, to be honest. But we'll see. Thanks for listening, guys. State of the WWE episode 111. And I'll be back with more. And again, at least leave a comment and a like down below if you love this. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes. Can we get 50 likes? I don't know. Also, if you guys love what I do, feel free to go back and re-listen to this over and over again, and just for no reason whatsoever. All right, here's some other videos that you might have missed. And on the top right, also, there's a link to my Patreon right there on your screen right now. You can click on the videos on the left to keep listening to me here on YouTube, or on the top right, you can click on Patreon and visit my Patreon and download that audio or play the audio of me talking about Sid and why I think the audience started cheering for him in 96. See you guys later.